messing around with another inmate, like as described in the report, and then after that, kind of trying to fix it, weren't able to. So damage to the dryer, which was caused during the work. So I think I'm understanding what happened, and I've provided a summary of that report for the board member.
And we're about to watch a Utah parole rescission hearing for a man who, well, was about to get released, but then damaged a dryer. One of the worst ways, I suppose, to have a rescission hearing for. Let's see how he works his way through the system, and I'll update you with the results at the end.
This is a rescission hearing for Ammon Washington, number 242335. Is that you, sir?
Yeah.
My name's Scott Manning. I'm a hearing officer at the Board of Pardons and Parole. I'll be conducting today. I'm going to be taking testimony from you, so if you'd raise your right hand, I'll swear you in. Do you swear that the testimony you provide today will be truthful and accurate?
Yes.
Thank you. Did you receive at least 7 days written notice of today's hearing with your blue disclosure packet?
Yes.
Probably not a lot in that disclosure packet. What I reviewed is the report regarding the recent incident that led to the rescission, stuff like that. I'm going to be asking you about that incident here in a minute, and we'll talk about it. Do you have any questions or errors you'd like to mention at this point on the record?
No.
All right, so the purpose of today's hearing is to discuss why your parole date was rescinded. I think the board granted April 2nd, 2024 parole back in November. It was contingent on you completing MRT and having no disciplinaries. You did complete MRT,
Yeah.
but on March 28th, we got a report from the Department of Corrections that talked about a disciplinary that you received, and it happened during your job, and it happened over a period of time. So we'll talk about that in just a minute.
All right.
I reviewed all those reports. I'm not going to go through everything in detail right now. On March 28th, 24, the board rescinded the April 2nd, 2024 parole due to, quote, due to a disciplinary violation reported by the Department of Corrections. And then this hearing today was scheduled. So I read the report. It talks about events that happened really over a couple months. You and other inmates, I believe, in the laundry, various behaviors, lackadaisical in your job duties, exercising, etc. And then I think on a specific date, you and another inmate are seen on camera. I think the other inmate was like on the dryer, and then kind of during that horseplay, that behavior in the job, a dryer was damaged.
Yeah.
I think that other inmate had already been released on parole when it was discovered. You received this write-up. So I guess I've reviewed all those reports, but wanted to give you a chance to speak about what happened. What happened on that in that incident?
That incident, me and my friend were just messing around at work. We had basically everything done at work. We just had the last two dryers rolling for the last two loads. And then we just messed around because we were friends on the streets. We've been friends for a couple of years. So I started like messing with him while he was leaning up against the dryer. And then he tried to like push the cart back and then pushed himself back into the dryer and then like dislodged the glass in the door. And we tried to put it back on and we couldn't do it.
Okay. Okay, so kind of messing around with another inmate, like as described in the report, and then after that, kind of trying to fix it, weren't able to. So damage to the dryer, which was caused during the work. So I think I'm understanding what happened, and I've provided a summary of that report for the board members. At this point, you've served about an extra month due to that disciplinary conviction, due to the rescission. Really, the new information is that incident, and then also that you successfully completed MRT. That's what the board will be looking at. From here, they'll decide on a potential release, the appropriateness of that, the timing, any conditions, etc. Does that all make sense to you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to recommend that the board affirm the prior rescission based due to that disciplinary. Then I'll submit the report to the board on that. Do you have anything else to add, or any comments you have about what occurred, the write-up, or anything in general?
No.
Are you still working in the laundry, or if you don't have the job?
I can't get a job until like the 23rd of this month. So you catch a right.
Because of the write-up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anything else you'd like to add before we finish? I guess, what did you learn in MRT? How did MRT go? Was that a good experience, or what'd you learn in that class?
I mean, the way I looked at it, because I read through the whole book, and the teacher told me not to read ahead. And it kind of just after I read it and then I did it, because I read over it like the entire thing, and it felt like it was like trying to like just beat you down as a person. And it's just like I wasn't all for it. I kind of just worked my way through it. And then it did show that like I could choose like different ambitions to chase in life, which I did commit to changing on that. But other than that, it's mainly like a drug program. I don't have a drug problem. I don't even have a drug charge. It's more for like if you have problems with addiction, or like you have like you're in a bad state of mind where like things can like control you easily, and like you just be a slave to like a material or like a drug or alcohol or something. But it's just like just felt unnecessary doing it.
Okay. I guess, just kind of looking at the last hearing, because you've had 3 paroles, right? Is that correct? Do you learn anything about, to do differently on the next parole that you get? Any insight into that?
This time, I was only able to like get my ID recently, which is like the last time. So I could like go get a job and work my way to the halfway house. But uh this time I was gonna try and get a better job. That's number one. And basically I get a better job. I don't have a problem like with drugs at all. It's just I refuse to let it like control me or like control what I do. So I was just gonna get a job and try and get out of the halfway house as soon as possible. Because the halfway house is mainly the reason why I choose to run. Because it's a really toxic area. It's bad. People are dying. People are overdosing. People are fighting all the time. It's just a toxic area. It's if I can like get out of there like within like a 3-4 month period, or like anywhere from like 1 to 6 months, I'll be fine. I can just I won't need to run. I won't need to like do anything. It's the halfway house just isn't, it's not the best place to send people.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll note your comments for the board. We're about out of time at this point. I've put together a report that I reviewed prior to today's hearing. I'll include what you and I have talked about today. I'll submit that to the board members, hopefully by this afternoon. It takes a couple of weeks. Usually we say between 2 to 4 weeks for a decision to be made. It could be sooner than that. It could be a bit longer than that. Once the decision's made, we'll send it to you in writing through the mail. And it will also be posted to the Board of Pardons website if there's anyone in the community that would like to access it there. So with that, Mr. Washington, thanks for being here and answering my questions, discussing these things with me. With that, I'll wish you the best of luck, and we'll conclude the hearing.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so they ended up granting him, and I guess, it really wasn't that big of a deal damaging a dryer, but remember when you're, about to get released and you do that, you're going to have consequences for your actions. Now, it's interesting. I'm looking at a spreadsheet, like, what is it that he did do? And he does have some strange offenses: criminal trespassing, enter remaining or unmanned aircraft. What does that mean? Does that mean that he broke into an airport and went into a plane? Possession of dangerous weapons by a person, 3rd-degree felony. And, there's one thing that I can say. Look, I'm going through old Utah hearings. Utah stopped allowing us to record parole hearings, and that's when I stopped showing them. If you've noticed, I haven't really released new hearings, but I have hundreds, maybe 1,000 hearings saved in the spreadsheet that I thought I'd go through. So let me know if you want to see more of these. And he is still out, to my surprise. I didn't think he would be. But I thought there was something interesting. I saw, in Utah, he's sitting there, leaning back on a chair, his hands up, and it's like the Utah Parole Board should have said something. And if you're saying, well, but no. Look at Louisiana. Look at the classic Miss Bonnie Jackson and how she handles someone doing a similar thing.
Those things don't happen unless you have a plan. Would you stop doing that? Thank you. Okay. It's not a good look for somebody who's trying to impress a parole board.
And you see, there you have it. It's just, and that's what I love about covering parole hearings. You really can get under the hood of a state, the different cultures of a state. And Utah is not what I thought it was. Once you get under the hood, you realize that it is at least the inmates. It's totally different. And really they should have, but here, I'll fix it. I'll fix it.
Those things don't happen unless you have a plan. Would you stop doing that? Thank you. Okay. It's not a good look for somebody who's trying to impress a parole board.
There we go. There we go. Anyways, let me know if you want to see more Utah parole hearings. And with that, I'll let you go.
Messing around with another inmate, like as described in the report, and then after that, kind of trying to fix it, weren't able to. So damage to the dryer, which was caused during the work. So I think I'm understanding what happened, and I've provided a summary of that report for the board members.